Hey guys, so just a crazy, thought provoking kind of discussion. So I'm watching Goosebumps here. The episode's Click, same title as the movie with Adam Sandler, and it has the same kind of premise. He gets a universal remote control that remote controls your universe. But no, it really is the same thing. He has this controller. It can speed up time. It can reverse time. Um, it can, if something's too loud, you can just press the volume and lower its volume. Uh, there's a scene that just happened in here where the kid's sitting in his room and he looks at his fish tank and he pulls out the contrast and brightness and all that, and he starts changing messing with the settings, and starts changing the color of the fish. Um, so, but it kind of is a great thing to think about. You're given this kind of power, this just a simple remote control that can do anything. What would you do with it? So, I think actually this was a Twilight Zone episode as well. But in all the cases, you have a person who essentially abuses the power of this remote control, and bad things start to happen. In Click, every time he misuses it for the wrong reasons, Morty gives it to him in hopes that he would use it to spend more time with his family, skip past all the work crap and spend time with his family, with the wife who clearly loves him, with his kids. But instead, he chooses work every single time. And before you know it, there he is as an old man. His son's getting married, and he freaking has a heart attack. Um, so he uses the remote in all the wrong ways. And then eventually, same thing with here. He does stupid stuff, like I said. He changes the color of his fish, which, the company in this episode, people consider them to be the villain of the episode. But throughout the episode, they are constantly telling this kid, sending messages, calling, whatever they can, saying, "Hey, stop it." They'll have little ads saying, don't misuse it, or they'll call and say, "Oh yeah, make sure you follow all the, procedures and rules and guidelines and stuff like that." He gets a message saying, "Don't misuse its power." So the company who made this remote clearly are not the villain of this episode. They invented a remote with these amazing powers in the hopes that they did use it that you would use it for good. They even say, use it for good, meaning like you see a robbery or a crime in progress, pause, and then you'll have time to call the police or disarm. If it's an armed robbery or something like that, you have time to go and take that person down and save whoever's life. Use it for good. But instead, the people just use it for all the wrong reasons. He uses it. He at first he pauses his sister who's tap dancing. Doesn't exactly mean to, but it happened. He then pauses it again to steal um, the answers for the test that he's about to take, because he didn't study. So he pauses and then proceeds to take the answers from his teacher's briefcase, and then so he can have them during the test. And same thing throughout the episode. He just makes all the wrong choices with it, and it costs him in the end. But so I guess it comes down to, if you had a remote control like this, you have the power to rewind time, fast forward time. What would you do? Would you just use it for like the fun part of it? Like I said, changing the color of your fish, or you're sitting somewhere pretty loud, you're trying to talk to your friend or your family or whatever, and just everything's blaring around you. Wouldn't it be nice to just volume down everything else, so that way you can just enjoy the time with your family or whatever, and not have to listen to all the other crap, all the other shit going around? Um, I mean, think about like some cool stuff. You're at the beach or something. You freeze, pause, like everything freezes. So that would that mean you could just get on top of the water and just start walking? Um, that'd be a great, awesome picture possibilities though. See this massive wave coming just as before it's about to crash. Pause. There you go, perfect picture. But to use it, because people would use it for personal gain. Like, how simple would it be to just walk into a bank, pause the entire place, and just fucking leave with all its money? How simple would that be? It's such an easy way to misuse that kind of power and technology. Each one, it kind of shows not only the terrors, I guess you could say, of technology, about how all this technology, we're just getting more advanced and more advanced and more advanced and more advanced. But it goes to show the morality side of it. What do people do when they're given this power? It's so you not only have this whole debate of technology getting more advanced and all that, but you have, like I said, the morality part of it. About what would you do? Will you overdo it and abuse its power, or will you use it for good? It's because, like I said, it's like in this episode, like I said, with the company, they invented this crazy product, and people were like, oh well, they're responsible, and they're the villain. But you can see right here, continual misuse of the Verona XG20 universal remote control will void the warranty, and the consequences can be severe. Throughout the entire episode, they are warning this kid, telling him to stop misusing it, to use it for good, or just, like, oh, hey, turn that up. Oh, hey, turn that off. Oh, change the color of my walls from white to blue. I mean, something stupid like that. But when you start messing with people and free will and stuff like that, that's an abuse of power. Like I said with the bank, you can so easily take technology like that, being able to freeze time, which is just a click of a button, and then go in and rob an entire bank blind, and no one would even know it happened. You walk in, you steal everything, you go back, and boom, and everyone's just going about their business as if nothing ever happened, because they don't know what happened. And then suddenly they're going to the safe and things and stuff like that, and suddenly it's like, where's all the money? Or you have a click, as in the movie Click, where you have to make choices between family and work, and do you choose family or do you choose work? Yes, work is important, but what's the point of having a family if you're not going to spend time with them and you keep choosing to be at work? So I think what it really comes down to is, really shows what kind of, it shows a person's true nature about what they would do if they had a remote like that. I mean, yeah, it's tempting. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if I had something like that, yes, the thought of doing something like robbing a bank would cross my mind. But would I actually do it? Of course not. Because I know it's wrong, and I'm not gonna abuse power like that. I would do it from something stupid. Like, I'd sit here on camera for you guys, and I would just like have Sam in here. I would just fucking change his color or something, or have him jump in the air and freeze him. Stupid shit. Or go to work. Or not even go to work, just fast forward to after work, to where I can just lay down and rest, or whatever. Fast forward through my week of work. Actually, what happens if you make a split screen? Would make a split screen like a copy of you? That would be pretty interesting. I guess if you can make a split screen, then whatever you have it faced at, you create a split screen of. Or in this case, with the remote, it would be a double. So, in theory, if you had this kind of if this remote existed and it had its power, could you, in theory, make a clone of yourself, like split screen of yourself? How amazing would that be? You could be two places at once. I could send myself to work and just kind of hang out here all day making videos for you guys. I mean, I'm trying to remember what other kind of, um, functions remote controls have. Well, you have your menus and this and that, but would you be able to change seasons? Would you be able to control weather? I mean, think of that. I mean, it could be used for good. I mean, imagine having a rain go to a place, you're in a place where it doesn't rain. Imagine having something that can create rain, just from, going into the settings and, So would it be, if you can mess with people and manipulate everything else around you, would you be able to manipulate, the earth itself essentially and create, weather in places that weather usually doesn't happen? Huh. Like I said, could you change the seasons? So if you're in, I mean, there'd be an easier way to do it just by fast forwarding, but there's always shortcuts, built in case you didn't feel like fast forwarding, kind of like a scene skip. But that would mean you skip everything. I mean, and whatever you skip, do you remember what happened? Like in the movie, they're on autopilot, but they're considered, but they still remember pretty much everything that happened while they were on autopilot, despite them, having fast forward. Their bodies were there, and they were still hearing and experiencing everything. So, if I was to have the remote and fast forward to, I don't know, April, would I remember everything that happened between then, or now and then? Or there's a lot of issues with this kind of power. But yeah, it comes down to what kind of person you are. Would you use it for good and just for casual everyday use? Like, I don't feel like going to work. I'll just skip through it. And then suddenly you're back in your bed right where you left. Like, you skip through the day and you wake up in the morning, you're still in your bed, you skip the day and you're right back in your bed. It's like it's like the day never actually happened. Or freezing time in general, just to enjoy the day. There are some moments in life that you want to last forever. Well, when you have that kind of remote, you can make it last forever. Until the battery wears out, I'm sure. And then once the battery wears out and you replace the batteries, I'm sure it becomes undone. But yeah, what would you guys do with a remote like that? Would you use it for good? Would you use it for stupid shit? Would you use it for just casual everyday use? Oh yeah, I don't feel like getting up and turn that on. Turn on. That needs to be turned on. I mean, you could fucking preheat your oven from your, your couch. You wouldn't even have to get up and turn your oven on. You could just. I'm sure stuff like that you have to kind of like think about it. It's kind of like in the movie. You think of time and a place, click, boom, you're there. So I think if it's not in sight and you think about it, like, oh, the oven, boop, or the heater or whatever. So yeah, it brings up a bunch of moral questions and technological questions and But yeah, what would you guys do if you had this kind of power? Let me know below. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.